designated as a terrorist organization by the United States and European Union. 214. Sheikh Professor Abdul Hadi Palazzi, Director of the Cultural Institute of the Italian Islamic Community. 215. And Tashbi Said, a Pakistani-American scholar, journalist, and author. 216. On occasion, some non-Arab Muslims such as some Kurds and Berbers have also voiced support for Zionism. 217, 218, 219. While most Israeli Druze identify as ethnically Arab. 220. Today, tens of thousands of Israeli Druze belong to Druze Zionist movements. 212. During the Palestine Mandate era, Azad Shukri, a Muslim scholar, alim, of the Aqiriya, and the father of PLO founder Ahmed Shukri, rejected the values of the Palestinian Arab national movement and was opposed to the anti-Zionist movement. 221. He met routinely with Zionist officials and had a part in every pro-Zionist Arab organization from the beginning of the British Mandate, publicly rejecting Mohammed Amin al-Husayni's use of Islam to attack Zionism. 222. Some Indian Muslims have also expressed opposition to Islamic anti-Zionism. In August 2007, a delegation of the All India Organization of Imams and Mosques led by its president Maulana Jamil Elias visited Israel. The meeting led to a joint statement expressing peace and goodwill from Indian Muslims, developing dialogue between Indian Muslims and Israeli Jews, and rejecting the perception that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is of a religious nature. 223. The visit was organized by the American Jewish Committee. The purpose of the visit was to promote meaningful debate about the status of Israel in the eyes of Muslims worldwide and to strengthen the relationship between India and Israel. It is suggested that the visit could open Muslim minds across the world to understand the democratic nature of the State of Israel, especially in the Middle East. 224. Hindu support for Zionism. After Israel's creation in 1948, the Indian National Congress government opposed Zionism. Some writers have claimed that this was done in order to get more Muslim votes in India, where Muslims numbered over 30 million at the time. 225. Zionism, seen as a national liberation movement for the repatriation of the Jewish people to their homeland then under British colonial rule, appealed to many Hindu nationalists, who viewed their struggle for independence from British rule and the partition of India as national liberation for long-oppressed Hindus. An international opinion survey has shown that India is the most pro-Israel country in the world. 226. In more current times, conservative Indian parties and organizations tend to support Zionism. 227. This has invited attacks on the Hindutva movement by parts of the Indian left opposed to Zionism, and allegations that Hindus are conspiring with the Jewish lobby. 228. Anti-Zionism. The Palestinian Arab Christian Oneid Palestine newspaper featuring a caricature on its 18th of June, 1936 edition showing Zionism as a crocodile under the protection of a British officer telling Palestinian Arabs, "Don't be afraid. I will swallow you peacefully." 229. Zionism is opposed by a wide variety of organizations and individuals. Among those opposing Zionism historically before their dissolution were the former Soviet Union, 230, and Nazi Germany. 231, 232. Today Palestinian nationalists, several states of the Arab League and in the Muslim world, some secular, Satmar and Necharia Carter Jews. 233, 234, 230. 235. Reasons for opposing Zionism are varied, and they include the perception that land confiscations are unfair, expulsions of Palestinians, violence against Palestinians, and alleged racism. Arab states in particular strongly oppose Zionism, which they believe is responsible for the 1948 Palestinian expulsion and flight. The preamble of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which has been ratified by 53 African countries as of 2014, includes an undertaking to eliminate Zionism together with other practices including colonialism, neocolonialism, apartheid, aggressive foreign military bases and all forms of discrimination. 236, 237. In 1945, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt met with King Ibn Saud of Saudi Arabia. Ibn Saud pointed out that it was Germany who had committed crimes against the Jews and so Germany should be punished. Palestinian Arabs had done no harm to European Jews and did not deserve to be punished by losing their land. Roosevelt on return to the U.S. concluded that Israel could only be established and maintained by force. 238. Catholic Church and Zionism. Shortly after the First Zionist Congress, the semi-official Vatican periodical, edited by the Jesuits, Civiltà Cattolica, gave its biblical theological judgment on political Zionism. 1827 years have passed since the prediction of Jesus of Nazareth was fulfilled, that, after the destruction of Jerusalem, the Jews would be led away to be slaves among all the nations and that they would remain in the dispersion, diaspora, Galat, until the end of the world. 239. The Jews should not be permitted to return to Palestine with sovereignty according to the sacred scriptures. The Jewish people must always live dispersed and vagrant, wandering, among the other nations, so that they may render witness to Christ not only by the scriptures, but by their very existence. 239. Nonetheless, Theodore Herz traveled to Rome in late January 1904, after the Sixth Zionist Congress, August 1903, and 6 months before his death, looking for support. On the 22nd of January, Herz first met the Papal Secretary of State, Cardinal Raphael Mary del Valle. According to Herz's private diary notes, the Cardinal's interpretation of the history of Israel was the same as that of the Catholic Church, but he also asked for the conversion of the Jews to Catholicism. 3 days later, Herz met Pope Pius X, who replied to his request of support for a Jewish return to Israel in the same terms, saying that we are unable to favor this movement. We cannot prevent Jews from going to Jerusalem, but we could never sanction it. The Jews have not recognized our Lord, therefore we cannot recognize the Jewish people. In 1922, the same periodical published a piece by its Viennese correspondent, "Antisemitism is nothing but the absolutely necessary and natural reaction to the Jews' arrogance." Catholic antisemitism, while never going beyond the moral law, adopts all necessary means to emancipate the Christian people from the abuse they suffer from their sworn enemy. 240. This initial attitude changed over the next 50 years, until 1997, when at the Vatican.
Yes. I need to charge my camcorder. I need a break. I have to read it again later because that's too many information. But I know I have to write like 100 pages down. I already should maybe call it Jews and Israel. Jews and Israel. Should not just call it Jews. It's Israel, the current Israel and the historical Israel. Israel and Jerusalem. but I will look at it later tonight because I have to write like the Nazi Germany. I have 6 pages with Nazi Germany. I have downloads Wikipedia, but it makes me a little bit depressed and bad moods. It's not nice to read about concentration camps and crazy Nazis. So I will take a break from my Nazi Germany. And when I was a teenager, I was very Christian. I have read the Bible a few times. I know the Bible. I'm not Christian, not really Christian anymore. But I'm not anti-Christian because I was very Christian as teenagers. I did like Israel a lot. I believe Israel was a holy land, the holy land for the Jews. Actually, I've been in Israel myself when I was in my early 20s. I've been in Israel 1 week. I've been in Jerusalem. I was in Jerusalem 1 week in the late 80s. Actually, I like to go back to Jerusalem again to visit Israel, but not now with all this stupid war in Gaza. But I would like to get back to Jerusalem and Israel. So, but now I will stop the video and charging.